to another exciting episode of Cooking with the Kid. This episode is kind of cool because I'm going to start my outdoor cooking season. It's late April here in Wisconsin and it's finally starting to heat up. Last weekend we got hit with a blizzard, so it kind of put this whole project on hold, but what I'm really excited to be able to do is actually start cooking outside, throwing some of those smoked meats, some of those grilled items onto the list so we can all see how simple it is to cook. The first episode in the series is going to be one of my favorites, which is ribs. I'm really excited to show you the ribs and show you what I do with my ribs, and well, I'll let you check it out for yourself. First thing we're going to do is we're going to prep. Okay, guys, prepping, we're going to use 3 simple ingredients. We're going to be doing St. Louis style ribs. So in a minute, I'm going to show you exactly what I do to prep those. But as far as prepping is concerned, we're going to do a rub today. And I'm going to use 2 different rubs. The first rub I want to show you is the Lysander's All Natural Meat Rub for Pork. My brother-in-law introduced this to me, and I gotta tell you, I really like it because it adds a little pop to the pork. Not only that, we'll also be utilizing, my own rub. Guys, you could go out on the web and you can go out on Pinterest and you can find many recipes for rubs. And over the years, I've just kind of indoctrinated my own, came up with my own recipe, and that's what we'll be using today. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is make sure with all ribs, pork ribs, there's a membrane on the back side of the ribs. So what we're going to do is ensure that we remove that membrane. I'm going to take my knife here, cut along one of those bone joints. Get that membrane started here. A lot of people like to use some paper towel, but I find that you got to make sure you get a really good grip on the membrane. Now that we've got that cleaned up a little bit, got all that membrane off, now you can also see when the membrane is removed, you get a really nice, you can actually see the veins within the meat a little bit better. So without further delay, we're going to go ahead and use that Lysander's first. And I just want a small dusting of this because this isn't my rub, it's just allowing it to pop. Like I stated earlier, it's going to allow for that pork to really come out. So not a lot here. Do the bone side first. Now you get your own rub. Guys, what I find is with ribs, you want a little bit more sweet. So over time, my rib rub has increased a little bit with the brown on the brown sugar side of things, because what we're going to be looking for is for a caramelization, okay, as we do the smoking process. And because we're not going to be using a lot of sauce with these here, that brown sugar is going to really help out. Okay, go ahead and flip these over, and then we're going to get the meat side. Once again, a small dusting with that first rub. A little bit here, not too much. Then you're going to hit it up real good with your rub. I'm going to repeat myself with the brown sugar because it's really key. If you want some caramelization on your ribs, want it to really look good, not only really look good but taste good, add a little bit more brown sugar on there. It'll give you exactly what it is you're looking for as far as overall color, taste. Okay, gonna make sure we get those edges. Once again, using St. Louis ribs, I find that baby backs are a little bit more meatier, but it's all good either way. And I'm going to give a heavy amount of rub on this. Now it's called rub. I'm not going to actually rub anything, but that's what these guys are going to look like here. And at this particular point, you got one or two choices as far as prep goes. I like to put mine in a vacuum sealed airlock feel to it, so you can throw it right in the refrigerator and let it sit and let these spices really get into the meat. Another option is you can do something very similar to that. Take some saran wrap it up really tight, throw it in the refrigerator for, like in this particular instance, I'm gonna do ours for about 18 hours before the cooking process. So I was able to go ahead and finish up that process. Like I said, I'm personally a fan of utilizing the vacuum sealer, but if you don't have a vacuum sealer, a very viable option is just plain cling wrap. Prior to getting this vacuum sealer, that's all I would do is cling wrap. Make sure I got it really tight, and from this point on, we're just going to put it in a refrigerator for about 18 hours. Today we'll be completing our ribs on a pellet smoker. Now, I'm no competitive competition smoker by any means, but I've been able to use the bullet smoker where it takes all day for you to stoke the fire, get your fire where you need it to go, and doctor it all day. I've used the plug-in electric smokers, and I have to tell you, so far I absolutely love this thing. It's a Camp Chef DLX Smoker Pro. I really like it. You put your pellets into the hopper, set it to start where you want it to go, and it infuses your meat with the smoke just the way it's supposed to do. So I'm gonna get this bad boy started so we can get our ribs going. So it's been about 18 hours and I've already pulled my ribs out of that vacuum seal pack that we spoke about. Like I said earlier, if you don't have a vacuum sealer, use saran wrap, get it real nice and tight, and let it sit. What we're doing there is letting the spices really get into the meat. What I'm going to do one more time here before we actually get started is I'm going to do a small dusting of that rub again. Not a lot, but just a little bit to get a pop that we speak about quite a bit. Okay, and I'm only going to do the meat side. Okay, so once again, not too much. Today we'll be using a 3-2-1 method with our ribs. So I'm going to stick it on the smoker for 2 hours, take them off the smoker, get ready to wrap them up real nice and tight with some aluminum foil. Before we wrap it tight, I'm going to spray it real quick with a little bit of an apple juice mixture that I have. Apple juice and Worcestershire sauce, that's basically what it is. But we're going to wrap that up real tight, put it back on the grill for about an hour and a half, close to 2 hours, unwrap it, finish it off by putting it back on the grill for another 45 minutes or so, and we'll see the finished product.
So we have our smoker set at about 225, about where we want it to be. I'm going to slide over here and throw these bad boys on. Don't let them run for about 2 hours or so, and we'll come back and give it a look.
So we're at that 2 hour mark, and what I've already done here is pull the ribs off of the smoker. And as you can see, I've laid out my foil. What I usually do is I do 2 layers of pretty heavy duty foil. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and give these bad boys a bath in a mixture. It's an apple juice and Worcestershire sauce mixture. It's a cup of apple juice and just a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. So what that's gonna do for us is give us that sweet, tangy mixture. So what you want to do is make sure you give it a really nice good bath. Okay? Okay, and the reason why is because as we wrap this nice and tight, we don't necessarily want any air to get up in there, because these bad boys are going to braise a little bit for us. That nice and tight there. Get one more wrap. Nice and tight. And we're going to stick it back on the smoker for about an hour and a half, and then we'll pull them back off. So it's been about 2 hours. So now what I did is went ahead and pulled those wrapped ribs off. We're going to go ahead and open these up here, just so you guys can take a look. Okay. Exactly where we want it to be. All right, get you a nice closer look at those bad boys. See how I did a little bit of basting? All right, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna stick them back one more time onto the smoker for about an hour, finish these bad boys up, be nice and ready to go. An option that you can have at this particular point is putting some barbecue sauce on it. If you want a little bit more seasoning to it, that's great. If not, the rub itself makes a really good seasoning, so it's entirely up to you. Me personally, I make my own barbecue sauce, and we might go down that path someday, but for now, we'll see how these finish out.